Hello, my friends. Happy Friday. Welcome to episode 91 of Why Did I Buy This? This series started as a way to help my crafters find unique ways to use products that they have in their collections. It's also a great series for my new crafters who are wondering what they need to be successful in crafting. My name is Lindsay. I am the team leader of Cloud9 Stampers, and I will be celebrating my 19th anniversary in just a few weeks with Stampin' Up. It's crazy, I know. Hard to believe I've been doing it this long. I love to craft, I love techniques, I love to teach, and so this is a really fun series to get to share with you the things that I've been working on in my studio. Please say hello. Tell me where you're tuning in from. If you're watching the replay, let me know that you're watching the replay. It's always great to be able to see who I get to craft with. Good morning, Deanna. Hello. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Debbie. Nice to see you guys. And then of course, remember, the best compliment you can get me is to share this video. So go ahead and hit the share button, and then your friends can join in on the live. Okay, so we have some really fun products to work through. Before we get started with crafting, I wanted to remind you that at the end of February, it's the end of Celebration. So you want to make sure that you get all of your Celebration goodies before that ends. With every $60 order, you are going to receive a free product. It's exclusive to Celebration. There are stamp sets, designer series paper, and bundles as well. So really a beautiful offering this year. I've been having lots of fun with it. Good morning, Debbie. Nice to see you. And then of course, I always have an ongoing promotion, changes every month, but for every $60 that you get a unique class, and I send all of the pre-cut supplies to you, and all you need is a neutral ink pad, a greeting stamp set of your choice, and some of the basic adhesive supplies. So the rest of the projects can be made just using those three things, so it's kind of fun. Just a way to help inspire your crafting. Okay, we're gonna get started. Hi, Kim. Okay, I'm gonna do the awkward transition so you can watch my hands, and I'm gonna walk you through a few different projects. I have a really fun product bundle to share with you today. Okay, are you ready? And this is where we do the awkward part, and I'm gonna zoom in. Whoop. Okay. So today we are playing with the Seize the Day bundle. First of all, great name, Seize the Day. We love a good pun. This is a photorealistic stamp set, so it does have some really great imagery in it. And there's a lot of ways to be able to build a great ocean scene. So lots of fun. This bundle is really affordable. It comes with a ton of dies and a ton of stamps for $72.75, and that's at a 10% discount. Okay, now this is what the stamp set looks like. So again, great name. And then you can see it has all of those images and then some really punny little sayings to go with it. Each one is a pun, which, kind of speaks to me. And then here are the dies. So again, really great for being able to build scenes. And these dies are just called C dies. So if you're looking for those on the store, that's what you could search for. All right, let's get started with our first project. So the first thing I did was I pulled out these two little cutie patootie fishes, and I wanted it to make it look like they were kissing. So all I did was mount the two stamps on the same block. I'm going to bring in a strip of 1.5, no, maybe it's a 1 1/4 strip of basic white cardstock. And I'm going to ink these two up. I wanted some nice bright colors, so I've pulled mullen, combined the two words into one, melon, mambo, and granny apple green. So I am going to ink the fish up in different colors. So the first one we're just gonna ink up on the ink pad like so. Just make sure we've got it all inky. Excellent. And then the second one, we're going to use the granny apple green. So this one we're going to, can you guys see what I'm doing? Yep. Okay, there we go. This one we're going to ink up like so. Now I'm going to bring in my basic white, and we're going to stamp our fish on there like that. So now we have the two kissing. There we go. Trying to get the notifications off my phone. Okay, so here we've got our kissing fishes, and what we're going to do is we're going to bring in some scrap grid paper, and I'm going to bring in my blending brush. I'm having a bit of an addiction with my blending brushes recently, And I'm going to use Coastal Cabana ink. Nope, that's my Macron. Where did my Coastal Cabana go? Hello, Coastal Cabana. Where did you go? Here it is. All ready for a different project. Okay, we are going to pick up some ink with our blending brush, and we're going to go right over top of where we've stamped those fish. And I love that because then it gives that feeling like they're sitting in water. We're gonna flip this around, and same thing, just blend over top of the basic white to give you that Coastal Cabana shading. Over top as much as you want. You can just kind of fill it in until you're saturated. Now another stamp that I really love from that stamp set, look, it already got the inky thumbs going on. You can see where the name comes from. Are these bubbles, and we're actually going to use these bubbles as more of a background stamp. So we're going to fill in the background here and kind of go up the side. It's nice because you can kind of cross over, like there's enough gaps that you're not going to overlap the stamp too much. And we're going to kind of twist and turn it just to give that background like that. So already we've got that cute little background. And then we are going to use our black ink to create a greeting. So I'm just going to bring in a piece of Whisper White, no, Basic White. See, when you've been doing this a long time, you have name changes, your brain kind of goes to like whatever name you knew the most for the longest. Okay, we're gonna do Wishing You Oceans of Happiness. And I'm going to bring in this label punch, and we're gonna line it up and punch that out. Okay. Next, we're going to bring in dimensionals. I've been really addicted to the black dimensionals recently, and one of the reasons for that is with the black dimensionals, if you buy a black pack, you get both the mini and the large dimensionals in one pack. So it saves you having to buy 2 packs. So there's the Wishing You Oceans of Happiness. And then what I did was I brought in the bubblegum gumball machine dies, and these little hearts here are so cute. So I wanted to kind of replicate the bubbles part of it. So I brought in some of the glitter paper that's from our mini catalog, and it's really helpful if you have a take your pick tool, so you can pick that up. And then we're going to add a little bit of glue to where our bubbles would be between our fish. So let's add ourselves a heart, like that. You can even just use your end of your tool to straighten it out. Okay, and then we're gonna add another one here where I've added that glue dot. If you guys wouldn't mind saying hi, I've had some problems with my lives recently where I can't see the comments. So maybe just say hi so I can see if the comments are there. So you can see that we've got that beautiful little heart situation going on. So this isn't an overly complicated card. Let me show you the finished project. So here you can see we've added one more heart onto a Coastal Cabana backdrop. And then I've used my favorite new designer series paper. Oh, Karen, thank you for saying hi. I can see your comments. Excellent. So this paper comes from the All Together collection. And you've heard me talk about this before, but I'm going to mention it again just for those of you who are new here. Anytime we have black and white striped diagonal paper, I am so excited because it makes for a really great frame for our cards. Okay, so this is a step 1. This is card number 1. Let's move on to card number 2. So we're going to bring in some techniques now. I'm just going to start on a clean graph paper. I'm going to bring in a piece of vellum, and we're going to use our dark Misty Moonlight blends, and we're going to go ahead and color along the vellum in a little scribbly, stripy way, just like so. And then I'm going to bring in my aqua painter, and it has some alcohol in there. So we're just going to go and do little squigglies over top of where we put our scribbles with our marker. just like that. So we're kind of creating ocean waves with our blends and alcohol and vellum, just like that. So you can go ahead and let it air dry, or if you like, you can use your heat tool and speed that up. The more you let it air dry, the more you kind of get the alcohol interacting with each other. So you get like a little bit better effect, but just for the sake of time today, we're going to speed it up with our heat tool. Okay, so there we get that fun background. Oh, Peggy, I'm glad you have this set. Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to add a greeting. So again, this is a very punny set. So this one says, "Thanks from the depths of my heart." And because I'm stamping on vellum, I'm going to use StazOn. So if you're unfamiliar, StazOn is a permanent ink. It isn't the ink we use with blends, but because I'm done the coloring part of it, we can stamp over top of the blends. So this little plastic lid, you can see it says "do not discard." That is a very important tip because it helps to keep your ink pad from drying out. So I've recently re-inked this, and we're just going to go ahead and say, "Thanks from the depths of my heart." And then you get that really nice, bold black greeting. It would need a few minutes to dry, but it's definitely the ink that you're going to want to use if you're stamping on vellum. I'm going to bring in this lovely little jellyfish. So again, it's very photorealistic, and I'll use a piece of basic white, and I'm going to use fresh freesia. So we're gonna have a purple jellyfish. So ink it up and stamp like so. And I really wanted to have the background filled in, but I didn't want it to be as dark as the fresh freesia paper. So I just brought in my blending brush, and we're gonna go over top of the jellyfish, and it's gonna kind of fill in the background so that it's not so white. Just like that. Okay, so then we're going to use our dies, and you can see this little jellyfish die right here layers right over top of it. So you're going to run that through the Big Boss, and then that's going to cut that out for you. The final step on this card is I wanted to add some background to it. So I brought in the dotted hearts embossing folder and the hearts here. Yeah, Corin, I see you're having problems with the internet. I'm not seeing that on my end, so it may be your internet. Okay, so this is already embossed. You can see that. And we're going to go ahead and use the fresh freesia blends. And we're going to do that tip that I've showed before, where you just gently take the tip of the marker and flick it onto your cardstock, and it just gives you a little bit of like those bubble kind of look. All right, let me show you the finished project. And here we go. So I cut out that vellum with the stitched rectangle dies, and then from the C dies, I used the vegetation one and added some white vegetation behind. There you can see is our little jellyfish, and then here's where we've stamped. I also brought in the faux sea glass shapes and added a few of those to the bottom. So there you have project number 2. Does flicking the blend affect the blend? If you did it like a lot, say you were making 20 swaps and you were flicking and you were putting a lot of pressure on it, yeah, the tip is going to start to break down. But to do it once on a card like this, it really is fine. I think of my blends as consumables like paper because they do run out. So, you know, they're about the same price as a pack of Designer Series paper, and we go through that all the time. So it helps to think about your markers as consumables and use them up just like we want to use up our paper. Okay, so that is project number 2. We're going to move on to the PYP card. So this is the final card. And I started off by cutting out the background with this die, and I did it with an unexpected Designer Series paper. I'm going to show you the back first. It's from the tulip paper, but this is the side we're going to use because this side of the paper is so beautiful and it just really has an underwater feel to it. Next, we're going to do a technique, and I'm going to bring in my blending brushes once again. So here is the piece of basic white. It's cut exactly the same size as the designer series paper that we've already cut out. And I'm going to bring in Pear Pizzazz, and I'm going to bring in Pool Party. So let me start with Pool Party. We're gonna pick up the Pool Party, and again, we're gonna go over top of our blend. And I feel like I need to re-ink this. So I'll just kind of give you a how to re-ink your ink pads tutorial while we're doing this. So here I've got an ink refill. So these are really concentrated ink that are in the same color as your ink pad. They're great for techniques as well. In fact, you can go back into my library of videos and you can see a whole episode that I've done on ink refills. But we're just going to drop a bunch of ink into the ink pad. And then I learned this tip from my friend Carrie Peters. Just take the spoon and you can rub it back and forth and it just kind of blends the ink in so you don't have those spots and kind of makes it a more even inking. And then you can clean your spoon. Okay, let's try this again. So now I'm going to bring in my blending brush and pick up some more of that ink. Oh yeah, so now we're getting more ink coverage, which is gonna make this project a little faster. So if you're using your blending brushes on your ink pads, you're gonna find that you're going through ink faster than if you're just stamping. So something to kind of keep in mind. I always recommend to my customers to buy an ink refill when you buy the ink pad, because you never know when you're going to need it. Okay, I'm gonna bring in now another blending brush, and we're going to do Pear Pizzazz. And we're going to go over top and fill in some greenery here. So not the whole thing, we're kind of doing some parts blue and some parts green, just like that. Okay, excellent. So let's kind of layer this over top so we can see how it's looking. Ooh, I love it. Now we're going to do some stamping. So since we have the green open, I'm going to bring in the greenery and we're going to stamp and stamp. So I'm doing one full strength and one half strength. And it just helps to kind of give the feeling like there's depth to the plants. Next, I'm going to bring in my Calypso Coral and we're going to stamp the octopus, and this is going to go here, like that. So again, let's just make sure that it's working in our window. Excellent. And then we're going to bring in another punny stamp, Seize the Day, and I really wanted a nice black greeting. And so Stays On is like a very, very pure black, whereas Memento is more like a really, really, really dark gray. So we're gonna say Seize the Day. And when you're working with cling stamps, the rubber ones, then it works nicely with your Stays On. You can clean them quite easily. Okay, next we're going to bring back in our tulip paper, and we're going to use dimensionals to pop this up. So just try to find places where there are no bubbles, like that. Peel off the backings and layer it onto our card front. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how I match up the corners. That looks so cool. So one of the tips I'll give you, and you guys know I'm such a fan of the Stampin' Chalk markers. So you can go ahead and just circle around the bubbles. So I didn't do all of them. I just picked a few to kind of highlight to make it look like some of the bubbles are in the front and some are in the back, just like that. So that gives you that look. And you can even kind of dot around if you want to make little bubbles. So this is sort of like the flicking technique. If you were like, I don't want to do that to my markers, you could just go ahead and add dots where you want them. And then we have a new product. So this is something to look forward to in March. So these are coming out March 1st. And if you love blue the way that I love blue, then you are going to need about 6 bazillion packages of these. So it comes with Pool Party and Pear Pizzazz and Pacific Point and then some shades in between. So this is part of a Waves of the Ocean collection that's going to be coming out. I'm not going to entice you with the whole collection today just because they're not available to you until March 1st, but just know that these are going to be incredible. So I'm going to use my take your pick tool, and we're just going to pick up a few here. So I'm going to use the Coastal Cabana and the Pool Party. Come on. Of course, I'm sliding it off onto, because there's already an adhesive backing on that, right? So there you can see the little gems in the background. Okay, let me show you the finished project. So here we have our PYP card for the week. Cool, right? So I added in a couple of the starfish, again, stamped with the Seize the Day stamp set and then die cut with the sea dies. Here you can see are the cute new rhinestones. And then I added some vellum pieces in the background just to make the greenery look more three-dimensional. So feel free to bring in designer series paper from other collections to be able to work in the theme, even though it's not the theme of the designer series paper. So let me show you the finished projects one more time. So here we've got the PYP card. Here we have our vellum technique. And here we have just straight stamping. And if you're thinking to yourself, Lindsay, why don't I have these products? Go ahead and visit my online store so that you can go ahead and shop to your heart's content, remembering that celebration ends soon. I'm just going to flip you around so we can chat face to face one more time. Oh, thank you guys for all the hearts. I love them. Yes, so again, remember, celebration ends at the end of February. It's while supplies last. So you don't want to miss out on your favorites. If there's something you've had your eye on, you're going to want to make sure that you get it sooner than later. My club members always get special perks. I have one spot left for the rest of the year. If you're keen and you live in Canada, you can go ahead and give me a DM. But in the meantime, have an amazing Friday, my friends. I hope you have an incredible weekend and enjoy your pizza and Prosecco. I can't wait for mine. Okay, thanks for tuning in. Bye for now.